Hi, this is Andreia. I'm an autism mom. If you're listening for the first time, I'm here to be the voice of my daughter, other parents, professionals, and neurodiverse individuals through our own lived experiences. I want to give visibility to these superstars that most of the time, behind the scenes, make a huge impact on neurodiverse lives. Welcome to the Neurodiverse Voices podcast. It's April. It's Autism Acceptance Month. And although it should be celebrated every day and not have a specific month to be celebrated, I think that for every autism parent, it's a reason to celebrate and to take pride of our children because they are so special and they can shine so much, but sometimes only us can see that because we are the ones who are there for them all the time. I have to be honest that I felt very anxious about putting this podcast together. I've been dreaming about it for a long time, but there was always something kind of pushing me back and telling me, oh, but what if it goes wrong? Oh, English is not your first language. You will freeze. How are you going to go about things? You have to learn about systems. You have to learn about using equipment. But then I thought, it's okay. You can do it. As long as you are authentic and your own self, you can do anything. And I then realized that April was just arriving and it would be the perfect timing to release it, especially because of it being about neurodiversity. And even though in April we celebrate autism, it doesn't really matter. It's part of the neurodiverse realm. And I'm so excited. I have to say I'm very tired, but I'm super excited, and I don't think I would be even able to go to sleep right now, even though I should be doing that. But I'm very happy to be here, and I really wanted to share that with you. And as an autism mom, I do not only accept autism, I celebrate it. I take pride for the daughter I have, who at her own pace makes progress every day. And I really feel that every single piece of progress that she makes, it's just, you just feel it differently. It's like, it's a massive reason for even to have a party. And it's just so meaningful and so rewarding to see every new word, every new sign of independence, her knowing when to ask for what she needs without us having to guess. But then, of course, there's the less positive sides of it, which we all have to deal with. And today, in one of my interviews, one parent told me that she would love to read minds if she had the superpower. And sometimes I feel exactly the same way. It would be great if I could know what my daughter is thinking, how she's feeling. Feelings is something that she's still not able to express very well and becomes frustrated most of the times for not being able to express or exteriorize the way she feels about something. But feeling that we provide her with a happy life and see her smile every day, which is very beautiful, by the way, just fills my heart. And I am the proudest parent. I am the proudest mother. And being an autism mom is, I think, definitely the biggest mission of my life, but also my biggest blessing. And I don't know about you, but I do believe that everything happens for a reason. and the universe always has a way of surprising us. So today I actually found myself thinking about April, but April of 2019, which is when the first suspicion of my daughter being autistic happened. We had her review with the health visitor, and I left there feeling like the worst mother on the planet, because I felt like the way she was asking me the questions about, can your daughter do this? Can your daughter do that? And my daughter completely ignoring her, not looking her in, not making eye contact, not speaking to her. At the time, she also did not speak to us, which we found strange. But when you are in a suspicion phase, you hear what people say. And with her being bilingual, we always had that possibility that she could have just a delay in her speech, because she reached all her motor milestones as with the standards of the age. So it was quite difficult to take all of that. And I'm pretty sure that the health visitor didn't mean in any way to come across abrupt, but that's exactly how I felt, which is fair enough. And from that moment on until we had a formal diagnosis, which only happened 2 years ago, I've been in denial. I could not believe that my daughter would be autistic, because I had this ideal of a daughter. I really wanted a girl, I really wanted a daughter. And I remember one of my best friends telling me, you really need to have a girl because your connection is going to be so great. You are totally the mother of a girl. But I idealized her. I dreamed about having conversations with her, about her telling me about her feelings, about doing everything with her, which we do, by the way, or almost everything. But in my head, she could not be autistic. And now when I look back, I feel exactly how some people who might not accept neurodiversity or autism are, because at the time I did not understand it. I did not know how to deal with it, how to support her, how to contribute to her learning at home, for example. So I had to learn all of these things by myself, with support, of course. But being in denial is definitely the worst thing we can do. And if there's something you can learn from me, if you are in the initial phase of looking for a diagnosis, is that you should not be in denial. But if you are, it's okay too, because we all have our ways of dealing with what we are feeling. And it's definitely very overwhelming to think that our children can potentially be neurodiverse. But it shouldn't be, because again, it's a great thing. The world is a better place because we are all unique, with different races, with different genders, with different musical tastes, with neurodiversity. We really should look at the world as a rainbow, or at least that's how I look at it, and I love it, and more of us should do exactly the same. Having the diagnosis was definitely a turning page to stop my denial and to make me accept it. It was a mixed feelings day. I remember it very well. I remember I cried quite a lot, but then somehow in my mind, all the fears I had, everything that I was feeling kind of turned upside down, and I started looking for what was positive about my daughter and everything that she's capable of doing, and looking at her with the same love in my eyes, but I think in an even more special way than before. And with her, every little thing is a very big thing. It's something that might be so small, but no, it really fills my heart. And I was always about the small things. The small gestures are what mean the most to me. So having a daughter that actually allows me to see the small things and value them even more, I couldn't have asked for a better daughter, I have to say. I know we will not talk about her favorite things, but it's very clear to me what her favorite things are anyway, because she communicates in her own way. She is able to verbalize, for example, the name of her favorite songs, and music is one of my passions, and we connect in that sense. I know she's not able to write her name with a pen in paper, but she's able to write it on an iPad or on a phone, or even on a laptop keyboard. She also knows the name of all her favorite Disney movies, and she doesn't point anymore. She actually says the names. She says the names of her favorite movie characters when she wants to watch any of the movies. She also tells me when she's cold or when she's too hot. And very importantly, she knows how to ask for her Jaffa cakes, which are one of her favorite things, or her chips. Those words, they are probably the words that come most out of her mouth every day. And I might be picturing the image of a perfect daughter, but that's really the way I see through her. That's the way I look at her, because she's amazing, just the way she is. But it's not all pink, even though she loves pink and she lives in her pink world. We have meltdowns when we don't give her what she wants, or when we try to make her do something that she doesn't want, including transitions of activities. So, for example, if she's watching one of her favorite movies and then she needs to go and brush her teeth, she will not be happy with that. And this journey kind of makes me increase my levels of patience, which didn't used to be great. That's something I've been learning to deal with by being my daughter's mother. And I would say that those of you who are listening and are a parent of a neurodiverse child will probably have a similar experience. I say many times that if anyone knows a shop where you can buy patience, just let me know, and I'm pretty sure I will go and buy some, because sometimes it's very much needed. It's also not very helpful that she has a strong character and she knows what she wants and what she doesn't want. But here's where the challenge, or the biggest challenge I find with her, is the fact that she's not able to communicate the way she feels. And most of the times I'm able to read the cues on her behaviors and try to do my best to understand her needs. But that's not always the case, because I don't have a crystal ball, and I cannot read her mind, which would be very, very helpful, but that's not the case. So I just need to go around and try to cuddle her, get her around my arms, and give her all the love that she needs and the support she needs to calm herself down, which sometimes it's even rejected because she gets into such levels of being cryful and difficult and kicking that it can be very challenging to calm her down, because she rejects my affection at that point. However, I understand it's not personal. I understand that she's kind of out of herself and that something has made her anxious and that something is not right, even though in part I can see and I can say as her mother that there is a bit of a strong personality attached to the behaviors as well. But the worst part is when the meltdowns happen in public, because you feel like you're being looked at, you feel like you are being judged, that people think that you put no boundaries in your child, that you're not a good parent. And in my point of view, we feel like this because we tend to judge ourselves, which is something that we learn how to deal with the time. And eventually the judgment will stop. I don't think it will stop ever completely, but it's definitely reduced as the time goes by. And once again, it's okay to feel like that, because whatever you feel is whatever you feel, and nothing is going to change the feeling at the moment. However, you can try to fight this feeling and think to yourself, no, I'm doing the best. This is my child. I know him or her better than anyone, and I will deal with it in the best way possible. And if you need to kind of lose it, step away for a bit, go take a breath, go take a break if you can, do it, and you will see that you will feel much better. And again, over time, it will all become easier. I promise you. Believe me, I do understand how difficult it can be to be brave enough to go and mingle and spend time with other parents who you might think will not understand the way you feel. But the truth is that there's so many support groups around, and I speak from my own experience. It helped me so much to start getting closer to support groups, other parents, and be in the middle of people who actually understand me. But there's always a but, isn't it? We still need to go out there, because the acceptance is within these support groups, because we all accept neurodiversity. What we should not do is to prevent to do anything with our children just because there might be a meltdown, just because they might react in a way. Because in my daughter's case, for example, sometimes I feel more anxious to do something for the first time with her, and maybe she's feeling anxious as well. But normally she's a positive surprise, and she's actually a bit of an explorer, and she likes to experience new things. It could be then meltdowns happen at a later stage, and maybe that's the reason why, and I won't know because she doesn't communicate with me in the way that I would like her to in terms of her feelings, but I still do it and I still give it a try. And the more we do it, the more awareness we will be raising, the more visible our children will be, and we need to continue praying for education on understanding autism and neurodiversity, because that's the only way to go. The more we expose them to the world, the easier it will be for them to be accepted and eventually celebrated by everyone and being seen in the way that they should be. And I would really like to reiterate that this is my own experience, and I really hope that you find my advice helpful. However, we all know that each neurodiverse child individual will be unique in their own way. And the fact that I can actually do almost everything with my daughter and I put her out there doesn't mean that you'll be able to do that with your children, because they are all different. They all have different sensory needs, and that might not be possible. But I just want to give you this, or pass you this encouraging message, not to give up and to keep trying, because with all our voices that might be very small, if we make noise together, I'm sure that eventually things will start to change, not only within society, but most importantly in some systems which are kind of failing our neurodiverse children and individuals at the moment, like the education and the health system. And I will cover these topics in future episodes because they are too relevant not to be discussed or talked about. I do have a good experience with my daughter being in school. She loves it, she's very happy, but they are not able to meet all her needs. I'm very happy with all the support the school gives to her. They do their best, they accommodate, and they adjust to be able to support her. But I have my own views on the education system in here and how I believe that it should work. And we know there's a current crisis, at least in Oxfordshire that's the case. And we hear from the council that things are about to change, and I'm sure they will change. They will take some time because these changes cannot happen from one day to another. But I still believe that a massive change is required in order to meet the needs of neurodiverse children within the education system. But let's leave the education topic for another episode because there's a lot to discuss, and I will be very happy to share with you my dream model of the education system in the UK. Until then, whatever you're currently fighting for, if it's for a place in a specialist school, if it's for a place in school, if it's for a place in an alternative provision, if it's learning how to better understand your neurodiverse child, stay positive and do not give up, because I believe in the good things coming and you should too. And if you are feeling lonely, if you are feeling shy to share your story, I'm more than happy to meet up and go for a coffee, to listen to you and to share my own experience with you. So if you need me, you can send an email at neurodiversevoices@outlook.com. And I would like to thank everyone for their amazing support, for following my pages on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Stay tuned for the next episodes. Thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to seeing you again on this side of the microphone.